Good morning, everyone. So my presentation is concentrated on this application of research and development in Sri Lankan construction industry. So my overview of this presentation is as on the screen. So economists have mentioned always that construction industry, when they compare the construction industry with these other industries, they always mentions the final output cost for the construction is very high to this compared to the others. But however, they are still telling that significant contribution of this construction industry to the GDP of the countries is in a high level. But in other hand, the construction industry still faces a lot of challenges from the challenging economy and this economic changes. Under that, in the latest, one of the challenge is based on the increasing changes in the demand. So when you consider, always the contractors try to give us fully satisfaction for these end users and the employer. During the time that the latest, the employer always expect the project with the more function with a low cost in the limited time. So this is a big pressure for these all contractors, and they try to come with new technology and try to with the innovation ideas. For that, now professionals are recommend for the construction industry to apply research and development process. So generally, the research and development process is general terms in this using in this business industry. So basically, they use for this mainly for the economic and marketing purpose. But it generally is commonly used for the set of investigative activities used for the new product as well as some add features for these existing products. But it is not limited into the business or business fields. Also, it's expanded to the other industry also. In current days, it has used for these other fields. That means that hard sciences fields such as this electronic, telecommunication, genetic technicians, they also using this research and development process to improve their qualities. So when considering about our construction industry, so our construction industry also we have to satisfy our employer through the with the project characteristics with the actual time and cost and quality. For that, this research and development give a good contribution to improve the quality and the productivity and the efficiency of the material as a management process. So when I come to my research, so that research based on this application of research and development in Sri Lankan construction industry. So this research and development topic is a little bit earlier they have started. For example, in Sri Lanka also we have started in 1980 after the inauguration of these national buildings research organizations in 1980. But initially they have just do a technical consultancy for the contractors. But lately then they have expanded in every aspects of the construction and the construction field. But still we can feel that most of the contractors and these employers not utilize and not using this research and development for the innovation of the construction. So to identify these research problems, so I have find out my objectives. So mainly I try to identify the importance of the research and development and what are the requirements and resources to conduct the research and development, and to analyze the methodic system, what are the methodic system we can apply to do that, and finally what is the lackness, so what are the awareness issues to conduct this in Sri Lanka. So when I go through these literatures, so I can identify it. So in current days, most of the construction industry and always they try to excellent in construction. When you are trying to go excellent in the construction, so definitely they try to improve these advanced techniques such as value management, sustainability, whole life costing, and human resource management, health and safety management. So, but research and development, it can control overall of this latest technology, because the research, as I explained earlier, research and development not only mentioning that regarding the new product, also it is give the capability to observe that new product, such as organizational management, that may give the training during the process, as well as this management in practice such as cost engineering and other practices, and also it is giving the innovation ideas for the such as the prefabrications, all that came through this research and development process. Finally, the construction dynamics, that means management process, main focus is resource management. And for second one is the requirement for the application. So in other things, most of the researchers have mentioned that this application of research and development is additional cost or additional burden for the contractor. So because of that, most of the people are not ready to or not try to invest for that. So and they can't only do that. And because of that, most of the countries, especially from the developed countries, for just US and Japan and German, for 75% amount are allocated from the government, and they are functioning with this special institution, as well as they are providing tax credit and tax incentives to conduct this research and development process in their construction. So, and that other than that, there should be a proper mechanism to do any system. So this is this common system that most of the countries are applying to do their research in the construction. Especially, they try to identify, when you start the project, they try to identify what are the scope and what is the area they have to acquire knowledge, and later they try to apply the research. In that time, they gather the knowledge based on that topic. Finally, based on the topic only, they try to the experimental development and also the monitoring and give the feedback for that actual process. So, but I already mentioned this process is very high risk and high costly. Because of that, when the government giving the tax or R&D credit for these contractors, they are checking that before that there is a test, 4-part test they are using in this common in the developed countries. They check through the 4-part test. After only they allocate the research and or tax credit for the particular projects. And next issue is the awareness. So when considering about that, in other countries such like Japan and other countries, they are still teaching from the university levels. So particular in the architect as well as the civil engineer, they have separate section to teach the research and development for the construction industry students. As well as this, they are functioning with a government centralized institution. Also, they have functioning with some other centers to give the knowledge to the industry peoples. Always they're giving the awareness regarding the government contribution for that. So in this my research I have tried, because even though I have gone through the literatures based on these developed countries, there is no any proper research that mentioned about the limitations and application of research and development in these developing countries such like Sri Lanka. So based on my literatures, I have identified some independent and dependent variables for my research. So for that research, I try to collect data. For that, I have issued random sample questions to the each. Especially, I need the opinion from the architect and engineer and quantity service and the surveyors. I have distributed through Google Forms, as well as purposely I interviewed some people, especially from officers from the NBRO and other lecturers who have the knowledge in this matter. So finally, based on the data, I have analysis that collected data. Especially when I collect the questionnaire, I have prepared based on my variables, as well as in the variables I have divided sub-variables. The questions formed based on my sub-variables. After that, the sub-variables ranked based on this relative index analysis. That means I have find out the most importance. And using the thematic content analysis with the interview also, I have listed out what are the most burden issues that we have to address in Sri Lanka. So based on that, based on my objectives and based on this prioritize of the problems, I have listed out my findings. For that, I have found that our Sri Lanka construction, most of the professionals know that there's a technology research and development, and they know that if we imply we can achieve something in the construction. But the problem is they don't have knowledge how to apply and what are the method to and what is the reason for the apply. So, but they have the idea about this research and development in the construction. Second point is this level of requirement resources, because earlier I explained that this is not only the contractor or employee can't execute. So proper support from required from this government. When we consider Sri Lanka, we have only other than this NBR, and we have some research development organization, and we have research and development in university levels. But when consider about the construction industry, other than the NBRO, there is no any resources or guidance for this construction industry. Third one, there is no methodology. So most of the things we didn't have any knowledge about this. Yes, we have only the idea. So for that, if we have to imply, we need a proper methodology to guide everyone. So we don't have in country, still we don't have any type of methodology or application to implement this. Finally, the same problem for the other also, that most of the contractors and these employees, they try to go on the traditional path. They don't like to go to the modern technology. They don't try to apply in the latest technology. They try to do their construction in the traditional path only. So based on that, I gave my recommendation for this record. So there should be a training program required. So especially for the educational institutions, especially for the engineering and the architect and surveys and the quantity surveys, from the university level, they need additional module regarding the research and development and the importance of for that. And other than that, that SIDA or Construction Development Authority, they should have to give a training for the professionals who is in this market, because when you considering it's Japan or other countries, they are one of the policies of their construction ministry is to give the chances to the private firm is one of the policy to them regarding the research and development. So for that we also have to recommend those type things. And second one is this support from the governments. So even the government giving the support, so that is should be increased, because we are just only implement for this NBRO. Other than that NBRO, we have to encourage them through the loans and these funds and other things. And third thing is the contractors should be encouraged. The most of the contractors, because of the additional burdens, most of us don't like. But when we insert this as for the expenditures as a preliminary items, as well as if they consider during the tender evaluation, when the contractor apply as research and development in their project, we can giving the tender. And also when during SIDA giving this R&D, their renewal of their field of specialty, as well as the award, Excellence in Construction Awards. In that time, if you give the importance for this research and development application, so definitely they will try to move for that research and development application. Finally, that NPRO. When I talked with NPRO, they told that even they are guiding, even they are advising to the people, they don't monitor and they don't check whether the progress is going or not. So it should be implemented that they have to monitor whether the construction people or the always adapt for that rules. Finally, that there should be a systematic application of method, and that method should train to the all professionals or the high-level people in the construction industry to apply this research and development concept in Sri Lanka smoothly. So through that, I think I have achieved my objectives, as well as I get the solution for my problems. And rather than that, I will advise to do some future research for the future studies, especially the role of the government to the implementation of research and development in Sri Lanka. Also regarding to find out the suitable procedures for the Sri Lankan constructions, including all tests, compared with these other countries. So finally, I'd like to thank for all give support to do this presentation. Thank you.